Welcome back, you lovely people. This is my Wednesday walk around for my Saturday, the 8th of March sale here at Barron's, or as we like to call it in the family, Manor Park South. Now, you're clever. You're watching this on Wednesday night. You've liked, subscribed. You're getting these ahead of time, which means you've got all these days, these physical days, to go online, check the MOT histories, look at our book pack videos, all of that. Or if you're anywhere near Southampton, come down in person as we swing around and look. Look at that's Wednesday, look. People are already doing it. This is the fun, but this is why I love auctions so much. You've got 3 whole days to come and look at these cars before you bid on them. Now, you've got to register to bid. Register online if you want to bid online, or you can register in the room if you come down on Saturday. Either way, it's a lot of fun, and we've got a lot of cars. This is our Jaguar themed sale, so as you would hope, there are a lot of Jaguars. And we're going to start with this one. Now, I feel like I've bonded with this car. I had the great pleasure of bringing this down from the north, and this is a bit special, this one. This is, as you've noticed, with a longer back door, a Jaguar V8 Sovereign. So why is that special? Because there's a lot more room. I mean, this is what all of the top people had. Her Majesty the Queen had a Daimler 66 long wheelbase, almost identical car. This is the V8 version, which I actually prefer, but easier to look after. Why is this car good? This car's good because it's got a great history. It's been with an enthusiast owner. It's only done 71,000 miles. Now, I have driven this car 300 miles to get here, and I can report it wafts as effortlessly as you would hope a Sovereign would. A few bits to do. You know, it's a project, it's a fixer-up, it's a no-reserve car. The body, the steel, is incredibly good on this car. I'm going to just show you around here. If you come around here, there's a little cauliflower that you're going to need to do. That's where a windscreen's been fitted in the past, and the fitter has nicked it, and it's rusted through from there. I'd get onto that as soon as possible, but where Jaguars go, like the arches, it hasn't. Let me show you inside. Look at this. If you're driving, you're going to love it. Electric everything. Everything works, cruise works. The aircon does need a regas, I can tell you that because I did try it yesterday for you. All the electrics work, all the memory works, but why you buy a Sovereign is either you've got posh passengers or you've got massive teenagers, because I don't care how big your teenager is, they are going to fit in there. Look at that. Really nice car, this. There are, again, being cards on the table. And this is why it's a no-reserve car. If you look, it's just starting to de-lacquer everywhere. It's such a shame. This is Carnival Red, and that's oatmeal interior. So every panel is just got either a little scratch or a little de-lacquer. It's just starting to do what all 308s do, which is to just go on the bottom of the rear screen. They all do that. You see what I mean about the lacquer? That's quite an amusing shape, that one, if you catch it from the right angle. Write in comments, it's like a Rorschach test. What do you see when you see that? Please leave in the comments what you think that is. But again, look, arch is really great on the back. Very little cauliflowering where Jags go. Look, and if you didn't want it before at 71,000 miles, look, you can even put the front seat forward. If you're sitting in the back, you press that button and the seat goes forward. So you can stretch out and recline in the back. So great to drive in the front, great to drive in the back. A no-reserve car. Having driven 300 miles in it, ladies and gentlemen, I have bonded with it. I will be having a cheeky bid. I do love a no-reserve Jag, and I can guarantee no matter where you are, got a good MOT on it, you can drive that home from the sale. I will bet my house on that. You can see here, look at the lacquer, you see what I mean? It looks nice in the pictures, but just bid on it knowing you're going to have to at least flatten lacquer the whole thing, or probably paint it realistically, but it looks good enough that you can drive it while you do that. And of course, we're in Southampton. It's got a leaper. It is the law. We always have leapers on the cars down here. Moving on. We're going to get our steps up today. Now, this is really nice because we always have to have a festival of the unexceptional car, don't we? A car that you haven't seen for ages. This is a 1998 Mazda 323 LXi. Festival of the unexceptional gold. They're a really nice car, these 1500cc engine. This one's ever so nice because it's only done 48,000 miles. It's had the same owner, the last owner, for 22 years. So the history on this car is unquestioned. We know exactly where it's been. We know exactly who's had it. It's not going to be expensive. This car will be somewhere between £1,000 and £2,000. So maybe 1,500 quid might buy you that, and you can drive it home. But you know me, what I love about late 90s classics is they're just so usable. You could daily this. It's a 48,000 mile rust-free Mazda. You could use that every day. So if you're trying to get into the classic car hobby, you want something that's different, unusual, and you want to get the nod from other classic car fans, buy this. Really cool. Let me see if the door's open. I can show you what's inside. I actually picked this as one of my top 5 cars. That one's locked. This one's open. Have a look at this. No, I can't open that one. It's locked. Well, it's because it's outside, you know, we don't want anything bad happening to it. But look at it, look at the coupe styling on the back. And it's not going to cost an awful lot. It's got an MOT till September 2025. And I love that a lot, simply because no one else has got one. If you're looking for something inexpensive to buy, have some fun with over the summer, or drive home from the auction, there you go, lot 102. Put that one on your bingo cards. Now turning around and coming forward to look at this, magnificent. I couldn't have any more love for this. You can hear people starting the cars up. That's the thing about viewing days. Don't bid in ignorance. If you want to come down, listen to what it sounds like, start it up, have a look, pull the history file. That's exactly what viewing days are for. Right, lot 137. That's a DAX Cobra, by the way. If you're thinking of bidding on that, that's what it sounds like. This is amazing. 2005 Audi A6 Allroad. It's a T Quattro Auto. And just look at it. Just look at it. 58,000 miles, monster history with 8 service, all done at Audi. The last service was at 52 and the car's done 57 now. Walnut fascia, sat nav, front and rear parking sensors, Bose sound system, xenon lights. These are a proper, they're noisy aren't they in there? These are a proper old money car. I love these. Comes with an MOT till August 2025. But it's just a very rare car. This is the bi-turbo. A bi-turbo Allroad Quattro. First of all, super rare car. Secondly, quite quick. Thirdly, like I say, old money motor. I love the fact it's got the colour-coded arches. I think makes it look like a real Q car. Look at the wheels. These have these crazy like alloy covers that go over the top, so you get this double spoke design. I think that is phenomenal. You could buy that for 6 to 7 grand. It will probably do another 20 years of service, that car. But again, if you just come and look at the front, it just stands so well. A bit more ground clearance, and like I say, that and the Legacy Outback to me are the two ultimate old money cars. You cannot go wrong with that. You could turn up at any horse trial, posh do, and people would think you fit in. That's mega. Talking of old money estate cars that are a lot more fun than it's polite to be, how about this? Lot 128 1996 Volvo 850R estate. Already we know people are salivating at the screen. This is the ultimate Q car, isn't it really? They put them in touring car because they were so cool. This is a higher mileage car. It's done 174,000 miles. It's 1996. Sorry, 172,000 miles. If you've never driven one of these, you've missed out. They are phenomenally quick. This one's an auto, so it's the ultimate motorway crusher. It's very, very good on the body. It's a little bit dusty because it's parked outside. It's been regularly serviced and MOT'd, it's in good condition. It's got a little bit of age patination, it's not perfect, you're not going to win a show with it. And maybe the Pegasus wheels you could do with a little bit of stripping and powder coating on those. It's got some good maintenance history, the brakes have been upgraded, had a new battery last year, oil lines as well. And it's worn well, it's a higher mileage car, but that makes it cheap. If you look through the window, look, you can just see a little bit of cracking on the leather at the front. You could probably get that painted and made to look a lot better, or just enjoy it for what it is. 4,000 to 5,000 for a bit of genuine touring car history, and just to look great. I love driving these. I've got a V70, which is the car that came after, not a T5, but still a great car. I love driving that, and it's even got, look, ready for you. The National Trust sticker is in the window, so you don't have to buy it. So a car that can spank the bottom of 80s and early 90s Ferraris, but that you can take to the National Trust and look like you've got a membership. Now, lot 131, I promise you lots of great Jaguars today. I always keep my word. 2008 Jaguar Sovereign. So that's the old Sovereign, the 308. This is the 350. We've got another beautiful Sovereign coming later. Just look at it. I think the best colour, my favourite colour on a Jag. Great interior, 101,000, and it's going to be very price rangey. First of all, what do we always know about Southampton Jags? Got to have a leaper. They all have a leaper down here. I don't know what it is. Please write in the comments if you are one of the lovely people from Southampton or a Jaguar enthusiast. What is it about Southampton Jaguar owners and the leaper? Please let me know. I'm just genuinely curious. 3 former keepers, lovely condition. Have a look at the interior, see what you think in there. Bodywork's good, paint's good, it runs well, it drives well. Now, it failed an MOT on 2 rear bushes and a link pin with no advisories. So the work will be carried out the week after the auction. So at the moment, if you check it, and I always advise you to check the MOT history on every car you buy, even ours, you see that will be a fail, but we know what it's failed on. The vendor's very kindly said that if you buy this vehicle before you collect it, he will get that work done, so it comes with a fresh MOT. It's a nice car, that, actually. 350s to me, I love the purity of the X300 and the 308. I do think the 350 is a very clever car. It's a little bit taller in the waistline, all aluminium rather than steel. Just a brilliant bit of styling. But just as a cruiser for £4,000 to £6,000, I think you'll struggle to get anything nicer than that. I like that a lot. Now moving in, follow me. Now this looks like an old Jaguar, and you're thinking, Paul, I can't afford an SS. I haven't got that kind of budget. Don't worry, my friends, I wouldn't do that to you. This is a Suffolk SS100. This is a kit car that does a very, very passable impression of an SS, doesn't it? 2021 this one was done. It's on a Q plate, which obviously you will have to tell your insurer that it's on a Q plate. That puts it up slightly, I guess, before IVA this was done. Offered for sale with an MOT till December 2025, racing green of course. And this Suffolk sports car kit, I know a purist would pull it to bits and say it's not like an SS. I mean, the suspension arms are the big giveaway. But if you want all of the style for a fraction of the cost being somewhere between £34,000 and £38,000 to buy this, it's good. It's got a couple of tiny little blemishes you might want to do. It needs a bit of interior development and weather gear, minor bodywork restoration on this. It's got a previous valid estimate on this car when it's been sold before. It's a 2012 kit that was completed in 2021. It passed an IVA in 21 with the original owner who'd put the car together. So there's little bits to do. You can add value to this. What I think is really nice about this kit is certainly from no more than 2 or 3 yards, it does a very convincing impression of the car. And that has been done to a lovely standard. Things like using the right wheel and the right tyre style makes it incredibly convincing. And the car was driven here. Tony actually followed the vendor to the auction. It's got a fold down screen. It's got the flip down screen, so full air conditioning on that. 34 to 38 would buy you that car. It's just cool, isn't it? If you can't afford a real SS, that's got to be the next best thing. Got a lot of love for that. Now this, I think this is one of the stars of the show. Mark III MR2 has been, I think, for far too long unloved because they're not as pretty as the Mark 1 or the Mark 2. Some people don't like the frontal styling. I think it's rather nice. It's very Japanese. They haven't ever quite reached the heady financial heights, but dynamically, they're one of the greatest cars. Also, a lot of these cars got cut up and made into 430 and 360 kit cars, which I actually think is quite cool, but there's nothing quite like the pure original. Now this one has done, sit down and wait for it, 11,900 miles. And now if we bring you inside and show you, the interior is like brand new. The bodywork is like brand new. It's got an MOT till October 2025. The vendor is a second owner, and the vendor's owned it for 5 years. It's been serviced every year by a mechanical engineer. It's got loads of tasteful improvements. It's got a pre-cap delete, new battery, rear spoiler, which I think that's a WRX spoiler. Being a Subaru fanboy, what do you think? I think that's a early noughties GD WRX spoiler, which actually works really well. I could be wrong, but it looks really good. It's got a new Pioneer double din in there. It's got Alcantara covered steering wheel. It's nice, but because these don't fetch stupid money, I mean, even with that ridiculous mileage, this is going to be £4,500 to £5,500, which I think for what you're getting, and it's a Toyota, it will start, it will run, it will do all the things you want sports cars to do, but it's not going to cost a fortune. And if you look at this is mad, look at this, look at the hood condition, and look at the bows inside, they are just like new. That's the best one I've seen. So dig deep, you probably buy that for about £5,000 plus your fees of course on top, but what a wonderful way to enjoy summer. Now this one's back in, it got very close last time. Maybe this is the sale that we get it away. It'll be in with no doubt a slightly lower reserve this time. 1989 BMW 635 CSI Highline, my favourite one because you get the chunky arches, the big spoilers. You know me and my body kits, I love them. This is the ultimate German Youngtimer spec. Brand new MOT till January 26. It's in Zinnebar red, it's got the gorgeous interior. Come and have a look at the interior, look. Look at this. You get the best seats. It's automatic, this one. If it was manual, it would be £11 million. If you can just see in there, look, have a look in there. So it's got all of those BMW factory optional extras being the Highline car. It's got a different set of alloys, but I don't dislike them at all. They really look good. These would have had TRXs on, which are quite expensive. It's got lowered, so it's tasteful mods, basically. But it's a 30-odd-year-old car. It's a higher mileage, 206,000 miles. These will do 250,000 easy if they've been maintained. This one has been very well maintained. And somewhere between £12,000 and £14,000 will buy you that car. Is that a good deal? I think it is, because were that a lower mileage car, you would be stretching towards the late 20s at the very least. And it presents really well. It presents like a lower mileage car. A couple of minor dents in the bonnet. The paint is good but not perfect. But what does that mean? I just think it's very usable. I love cars like this because they're not ridiculous amounts of money for what they are, and you will use it and you will enjoy it. If you get a pristine one with low mileage, it will cost you all the money in the world. You'll be scared to use it. You won't have any fun. Classic cars are about having fun and enjoying. That's great. One of my favourite cars in the world is Maserati Quattroporte, but I've never been brave enough to own one. I think from a styling point of view, character and soul, all the things a good classic car should have, this has it in spades. This is a very nice car. You get all of this. If you buy your cars by the foot, it's a lot of it. 2004, it's only done 45,000 miles. And as our listing says, and I do agree, an icon of Italian elegance. Look at that. Supplied new by Maranello of Egham on the 20th of September for £75,000. Now you, my friend, you can buy this for probably 70 grand less than that this weekend. Maybe 5 to 7 we've estimated this at. Now, what you want to get with any Maserati is a monster history file. They're a brilliant car, but history is everything. So, maintained by Maranello or Lancaster, between 2005, we've got services at 6, 13, 18, 21, 22, 23, 26, 28 and 31. Then it's gone to Jello of Kent. It's been serviced between 2017 and 2020, at 34, 37, 40. So monster history. They're always a little bit of a punt, the Mazas, but I think if you're gonna take a punt, I'll take a punt on this one. Look at it inside, look. When we went to Malta, there's a little place in Malta, the walled city of Malta, called Mdina, and the mayor of Malta, or Mdina within Malta, drives one of these, and he's probably the coolest guy on the island. He's an absolute petrolhead car nut, and he came to meet us, and he was in one of these. So if you want to know the coolest guy in the Malta car scene, the mayor of Mdina drives a Maserati Quattroporte. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. 5 to 7 grand looks like 75 grand. And as I say, the thing that you always worry about with a Mazda is, will it bite me come my first service? I think if you look at the bills, and this has monster stack of bills, 5 to 7,000 pounds. Find a cooler car for less money, I dare you. Wouldn't be a sale without an MG. Not an MGB. Those of you in the know will have already seen my prominent bulge at the front. Car's got one too. That means it's an MGC. So it's got a 6-cylinder engine. Now the purists love the 4-cylinder because it's lighter. You could argue the balance is better. The thugs and the collectors like the MGC because it's got a little bit more grunt. I think they look so much better with the bonnet bulge. That is a steel one you can hear as well. 72,000 miles, a new MOT, despite the fact it's fully exempt. Now this is a 2-owner car, recently recommissioned after being off the road for 30 years in a nice sunny Surrey storage. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, the paint is needing love. It's had older paint. You might get away, if you look at the bonnet, you see it's a little bit orange peely. You might get away with flatting some of that, but it's starting to bubble through. It's got a lot of bubbles. Either buy this knowing it's a little bit scruffy, and you know what I think about scruffy cars? I think they're ace because you use them and you have a lot of fun. Because will it affect your enjoyment in the summer? Absolutely not. You will have so much fun and you'll park it anywhere and you'll enjoy MGC motoring with a rumble of that 6-cylinder. The engine turned over smoothly, has a patina on the valve seats, leading to no compression for starting. So the head was removed, a decoat carried out, the engine now runs well, carburetors were stripped and rebuilt, the fuel tank was removed and cleaned, the fuel pump was rebuilt, it's got new rear wheel cylinders and shoes, new calipers, brake hoses, new clutch, brake master cylinders. I think you can tell I won't give you everything, but please have a look at the listing if you like it, because a lot of money has been spent. So as we've said, the only real criticism of this car is, obviously it's missing its little bit of trim in the back, very easy to sort. There is the carpet for that look, someone's been having a look at the battery. It just needs a bit of paintwork and a bit of love. But 9 to 13, making it a cheaper version of getting one of these, I think that could be a lot of fun. The metal is very, very good. There's no rot, it's just micro blistering on the paint. So if you are a painter or you have access to a mate who's a painter, that could be the bargain at sale. I like that a lot. Unusual Jaguars with great looking colourways. 1967 Jaguar S Type. Doesn't this look an absolute eyeful? In terms of colour, interior, I really like the white line tyres. I think they're very nice as well. This is MOT exempt, tax exempt, ULEZ exempt. If you want to beat the system, do it in this. The paint is very good. There's a little bit of an imperfection on the bonnet I see there, which is a shame because the rest of the paint is very nice. It's an older restoration that's been done over several years. It's silver blue paintwork. The cream leather, just look at this leather. Someone has spent some money in here, folks. Come and look at this, look. It's absolutely splendid. Blue piping. It's got a little bit, it's just starting to go with older restos, but I never worry too much about that. But you can see if you look at the roof, it is good quality paint. It's got the original heritage certificate, owner's manual. It's got service policies and service books. It's nice. S-Types don't make what Mark 1s and Mark 2s make, which is funny because they're a very lovely car, huge back seat, very usable classic. 12 to 14 would buy you that. 3.4 litre manual car, shovels along, looks the business. It's pretty, isn't it? I think that's the way to describe that car, it's very pretty. If you prefer a Mark II, this is very nice. It's a car that we know very well. 59, I do think these cars at 59 are so pretty, achingly pretty. And this one is lovely. So Mark II, MOT exempt again. It's registered in 59. This is a 3.8, this one. Very early example. So you get the recessed sun visors, the pendant throttle, all that kind of stuff. It's got the smooth painted centre dash. If you thought that looked good inside, look inside this one. Look at this. This car has spent a lot of its life in South Africa. So what we have here is a lovely shell. Really nice quality shell. It's been with a long-term Jaguar Car Club member who's looked after the car very well, and it's tip-top new Jag chrome wheels and a heritage certificate showing it was done on the 27th of November 1959 and then shipped to Cape Town in the December of the same year. So if you're saying how on earth has it survived with all these original panels with no rust and crud, that's how. So it came back obviously latterly, but it spent all of its time in that lovely dry country and then been restored to a very high standard. Won't be cheap, because it's a nice car. 18 to 21, or somewhere in between, that could be yours. Don't forget, with all these cars, I'm trying to give you a quick management summary, just a quick overview of what's in the sale, to try and pique your interest. If you see anything you like, do give us a call, do come down and see, do dig deep. I can't obviously give you the full information, but a car like that, there's so much backstory to it. I mean, Tony knows this car very, very well. So if you want to talk to Tony about what it's had, the money that's been spent, we know these cars. Tony really takes his time to get to know the vendors. Come and find out the stories. It's a lot of fun. And obviously, before you put your money down, you know what you're buying. Now, I love an XJS. I have a pre-HE. But this is the facelift, which I think is the most handsome of all of the XJSs. And what's interesting about the XJS, if you look, everybody's talking about these. Classic and Sports Car made it their cover car, reckoning it's the best Jag GT. I can't disagree with that. They're just phenomenal to drive. Chris Harris has bought a Jag XJS 3.6 manual. Obviously the Kaiser Salim, he has teamed up with Fergus Walkinshaw. They're doing a very, very cool carbon bodied one. All of a sudden, everybody is looking at the XJS saying they're a very groovy car. So I think all of that interest, plus the fact they're actually a very nice car to live with, is suddenly going to make them very popular. Now this is a 4 litre, automatic of course, as nearly all of them are. 107,000 miles, light metallic blue, overall great condition. Second to last year of production, so this is about as evolved as they got in terms of a concept. The interior is very nice, a little bit of patination. Nothing you couldn't clean and paint away. Electric seat, CD player, they all work, believe it or not. It's had a new headliner in 2019 with a receipt in the folder. It's got the twin headlight conversion, which I think looks loads better. And a good service history that was carried out, the last service was carried out at 101,000 miles. It's now done 107. So she's probably ready for another one. What would you pay for that? What would you pay to be nearly as cool as Chris Harris? Because nobody is as cool as Chris Harris. He's the coolest. You'd pay 10 to 12 for that. I would like to own that. Imagine wafting along, south of France, you and your better half, in that, roof down, CD player playing because it works, some 90s tunes on. Life wouldn't get any better. And it would cost you 12 grand to do that. Now this is gorgeous. I'm going to get around the back here. I will make this car look very tiny. Austin 7, there you go. 1934 Austin 7, so cute. £4,000 to £5,000 would buy you that car. Done 50,000 miles. It is everything exempt. You could drive this car literally anywhere and no one would care. You don't have to pay anything. Also, you could park it anywhere because it's so tiny. I can almost put my arms around this car. Now, my mum used to have a 1937 Ruby, and believe it or not, as I stand next to it, I can put it under my armpit. I actually fit in one of these I had to do yoga for a week before and grease myself up. But I did do an Austin 7 run and had a huge amount of fun. Are they fast? No. But that's not the point. You drive this car to the pub or on a little run or on a 30, 40, 50 mile country jaunt to somewhere nice at the end of it. And the smile it will put on your face if you ever drive one of these, and the amount of people that will wave at you, everybody lets you out at a junction. I mean everybody, even people in Audis, they let you out at a junction. Recent work that's been carried out includes torque tube bearings, rear hub bearings, seals, dynamo regulator, new battery, carburettor replaced, new fuel tank, upholstered seats. All the nipples have been greased, and I know there's a certain sector of the comment section that likes to know about such things. All the nipples, I can very much say, are greased correctly. Now, in the history folder, there's various receipts and invoices, magazines, workshop manuals, MOTs. It's just a lovely thing. In a way, it's quite sad. These sort of cooking mainstream 30s cars aren't worth an enormous amount of money. There's a few cars here that you could buy, and probably in 10 years' time, they'll be worth an awful lot more than you pay. This will never be an investment car. You're never going to make fortunes on this car. But that's not the reason to buy it. You buy this car for sensible amounts of money because they're cheaper than they were. They're just incredible amounts of fun. And also, if you've only got a tiny space in your garage, it's like two motorbikes side by side. They're tiny. Very, very cute. 4 to 5 grand, that could be yours. Moving on to this is back in with a lower reserve, the DAX Cobra. If you can't afford a real Cobra, and let's face it, who can? The DAX is actually a very well respected, very established kit. DAX is still going as well, so if you need parts and spares for it, that's very easy. Everybody knows the car. Because it's a well-known Cobra conversion and one of the better ones, there's always a really good aftermarket for these. Now, lots of engines have been fitted in these over the years. People put Rover V8s in, they put LSs in some of the later ones. This has got a Lexus V8. It's like a Japanese Mercedes, but it's got a manual gearbox. It sounds amazing. You heard it early in the video. Somebody started it up and it sounded like the world was ending. What a great sound. Really clever induction setup on this as well. I like the way they've done that. Built to a very high standard, little used. It's only done 4,000 miles since it's built. It's in exactly the right colour with the Shelby stripes on. It does a very convincing impression. Now, when you think the top of this market, if you buy a new Cobra, they can easily be 6 figures now. What would you pay for this? 16 to 18. I think if you look at the quality of the build, the fact it's a decent kit, the fact it's a really good, reliable, and you've already heard, fantastic sounding engine. What a great way to get into Cobra ownership for not daft amounts of money. That's good. Now that should obviously have a Ford engine. This definitely has a Ford engine. 1980 Ford Fiesta Festival. Now, I like this car very much. It's very original, this car. 43,000 miles, it's 1980, it's MOT exempt. It's a 1.1, but the best bit is, look, all you Porsche fans who've just had your 911 reupholstered with houndstooth, look, this has got factory houndstooth, and look at the condition of that. 3 owners in total, very good original condition. A few age-related marks, of course. There's a few dents on the bonnet. This very much looks like it's been put in someone's garage. Somebody has been, I don't know if you can see that. There's so many little dents on the bonnet. It's got various MOTs, various service invoices. It's just a fantastic car. You get a good dent man on that. The paint's good, the interior is exceptional. It's got its original wheels. It's so unmessed about with. A couple of tiny little cauliflowers which you could just catch there, look. If you just look on the back of the rear quarter. It's so clean. It's so straight. But what I love about it, it's just really honest, not messed about with. It's managed to go through the whole of the boy racer period with no one trying to make it into a XR2 lookalike. The 1.1L Fiesta. Again, Festival of the Unexceptional Gold. It's almost too cool to be the Festival of the Unexceptional, but look at the condition of it. I think you could make this almost a concours car for about 300 or 400 quid, and you could buy it for somewhere between 5.5 and 7. Super rare. If you're a Ford collector, definitely collect a quality car with very little work, or just, again, super usable everyday classic. And also, I mean, just look at the line of this. Again, I'm talking of Ian Callum, who designed the DB7, that car there. We were chatting about car design, and he reckons that the Mark 1 Fiesta is one of the purest, sweetest, most balanced designs. Cannot disagree. Moving forward to this rather lovely 2007 Lotus Elise. This one's back in again with a low reserve. What is not to love about probably one of the greatest handling cars ever made at any price point? If you've never driven an Elise, they are just remarkable car. We restored one on the show actually. I haven't spent a massive amount of time in Elises because I don't really fit in them. I do just about squeeze myself in. So if you're tall, if you're kind of 6'2", 6'3", you will. If you're 6'4", it's a tight squeeze, but you can get in. The handling is unreal, just absolutely unreal on these. The driver enjoyment, and this is a nice car because it's a Tour Plus, 86,000 mile, one owner from new. Why I like it, again, it's going to be very price rangey. It's not immaculate, there's a few little marks where the top's gone on here. It's tidy, it's clean, it drives well, it's got a great history. Last service was 66,000 miles. It's probably ready for a service. So if you're bidding on this, do give yourself a little bit of budget for that. So, right, the vendor is motivated to sell, it says in the listing, so it needs to go, this one. So do bid on this with confidence. I'm sure we can find it at home in this sale. We've guided it at somewhere between 13 to 18. That's quite a broad price range, but come at us with your best bid. Let's find it a new home. If you just want to tazz around in the countryside, enjoying the sunshine, it's brilliant for that. If you want to go on track, and to be honest, spank a lot of very expensive cars with this because the handling is so sublime, so benign. And I also think from a styling point of view, they nailed it with this car. Absolutely brilliant car. If you've got one, you'll know. If you've never had one, a very clever piece of kit. Now this is back in as well, Reliant Scimitar. This is very much a little doer-upper. If you've got vision, and particularly if you've got access to a paint shop or you are a painter, this is the car for you. 1966, Reliant Scimitar SE4 straight 6. Now the GT is a great car. We all know the certain royal member of the family that had one of those. But I prefer the notchback. I think they're just a little bit more unusual. I prefer the balance of styling. Good condition. The paintwork is very blistered. Now it's a fiberglass car, so obviously you're not going to have to deal with any rot. But if you want to make this pretty and concoursey, you are going to have to go through and do all the bodywork again. Designed by Ogle, of course, this one. First ever Scimitar and launched at the 1964 Motor Show. This is a 66, so you're only 2 years into production at this point. It's car number 78. Let me open the door for you so you can have a look inside. Look at that. The non-more 60s interior. Now it's had new brake and suspension, new overhaul, new clutch, new overdrive. The chassis has been cleaned and repaired. It's had a new battery and a full service. It's got all ownership going back to a copy of the old green logbook. Now look at this. You'll notice at the back, you purists, okay, what's going on with these boy racer arches, Paul? Well, it's got a sexy wider SE5 back axle on it. So a little bit more wallop at the back end, because we think this car may have been doing some kind of clubman level motorsport. So she's got some history. She's got a story. So don't buy it thinking you're buying a show car. Buy it thinking you're buying a car with a very cool history, with a lot of potential that will need, if you want a perfect car, it will need a full paint. But that's down to you. I would say just leave it and enjoy it. Have some fun and do skids with your SE5 back axle. Now we're going from obviously 60s chic to 50s glamour. How about this? The Traction Avant. A very late one, 1955. Recently restored car, brought back to life by the vendor and running and driving very well. There's a picture file of the restoration and invoices of £16,000 just on parts. 16 grand on parts. Now why that's notable is you would buy the car, the whole car, for less than that parts bill. We've estimated this at 12 to 14 grand. If you've never driven a Traction Avant, they obviously are a 30s design, but they drive, Christ, they drive like a 70s car. It's just incredible. Front wheel drive, of course. You get the glamour of almost an Art Deco looking motor car, but what you do get is a very usable, fantastic owners club, easy parts availability. And this car, as we say, huge amounts of money spent on it, so you don't have to. The car was driven here with no problems, and it's only been sold to make room for the next project. Very much the kind of behaviour we can get on board with. Yes, please, more of that. How about this? Another beautiful Jaguar. In fact, you can see we're about to go into a Jaguar sale. We've got a DB7, which we all know is really a Jaguar underneath. Jaguar XJ6 and a very nice party frock. 1961, this one. 1961 Mark II 3.8 manual with overdrive. Possibly the most sensational colour combination Old English white with a gorgeous oxblood interior. Have a look at that. 3.8 manual, that one. Again, from South Africa. Where do we find all these rust-free South African cars from? All duties paid, UK registered, very sound with no corrosion. No surprise there. Great paintwork with a couple of blemishes which we've put on the website. So if you want to have a look at what isn't perfect on the car, not a lot, but we like to show the faults as well as the good bits. Look at that. Tell me you wouldn't love it in there. That's leather, not vinyl, by the way. Door cards and the centre console have all been done. The carpets look like new. The chrome's very good. The wire wheels are good. It's had carburettor overhaul, new carb kit and oil and filter has all been done. Now some pictures of the outstanding underneath have been put on a website, so do have a look. I can't sadly show you that here, but that is the real deal, the full ticket as we say. What you see is what you get, and it's as good underneath as it is on top. 16 to 18 for that 61. I think I'm going through my Jag period. Now I'm in my 50s. I prefer a 90s Jaguar, but I think if you've ever promised yourself a 60s Jaguar, a Mark II, which they are iconic, aren't they? I mean, in the 80s, these were fetching £11 million. Now we're in the 2020s. They're much better value, but they're just so usable, and they just look so good. Moving on, how about this lot 115, a beautiful 1989 Jaguar XJ6 convertible automatic, like the blue one. Very nice, pretty car, very low mileage this one as well, 46,000 miles. Limited documented history, but ultra low, 46,000 miles. If you check out the DVLA MOT history, that looks good. The car's always been maintained by the vendor on a no expense spared basis, and I do like a Jaguar in red. I have to say, alloys are good, they're uncurbed, tyres are good. It's got a leaper, which as we know, is actually the law here in the south. Obviously the previous one had one as well, I hadn't pointed that one out. It's just nice, great colour combination. If I was being pedantic, I'd probably do a little bit on the seats. I really would, and just check that's okay, because they're just getting a little bit worn. Drives well, tight steering and handling. It's got lovely oil pressure on the V12, which you do have to check as well. And I like it a lot. What would buy you that? 10 to 12 grand. That could be you smoking around. And you've got the luggage option on the back as well. I like that very much. Now, a car that's back in with a slightly lower reserve, so if you didn't get it last time, maybe this is the time to get it. I do think this is our superstar lot. This is a car I would like to own. This is a car I know our chairman, Stephen Ashworth, would love to own. This is beautiful. All DB7's a great looking car anyway. Designed by the amazing Ian Callum, CBE. I think one of his finest works. They're an interesting car because the entry into this market is like 14, 15 grand you can get an all right one for. This is probably going to be double that. But I would wager that you are getting more than twice the car. First of all, it's the best colour for this car, no question. Best wheels for this car, no question. It's the 3.2 supercharged. It's a car that has entered and won Aston Martin Concours events. It is another car that's been maintained with literally no care of the cost. And it has done, my friends, 17,000 miles. Now you're getting very excited. And if we move to the interior and look inside, the icing on this very gorgeous cake, look at that. Not only the interior itself, but the manual gears. It's a manual box. They made 500 manuals, that's all. So a super rare car in incredible condition, in the best colour with the best wheels. It's going to hurt. You're going to have to wince a little bit to buy this one. I think you're going to have to get your 30 grand wallet out to own it. But what is it? The bitterness of price is forgotten after the quality is remembered. Something, you know, there's a phrase in there somewhere. Basically, if you buy something that's expensive, if it's nice, it's always worth it. What a thing. What a thing. Isn't it like the leather's immaculate? Concours winner, as I say, it's the best one I've seen by a long, long way. And if it's open, let me just very carefully, it's rubber, before anyone writes in, that's got a rubber case on it. If I can just lift the bonnet, and it's in the same place as the, look at this, look. There's clean, there's immaculate, and then there's that. Look at that. Look at that. That's new. This is as close to buying a brand new DB7 as you will get. It's not surprising, but look at every clip, hose. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning. Collector quality car in the best colour. I would very much like to have that in the Cowland collection. So dig deep, because things you could buy a 20 grand one and then spend 10 grand on it and it wouldn't be as good as that, and it wouldn't have the mileage, and it wouldn't have the gearbox, and it wouldn't be in that colour probably. So buy it, best one I've seen. Now, do you like Harry Potter? You're a wizard, Harry. Or if you're more of a Ron Weasley fan, maybe you need almost the exact replica of the Weasley Anglia 105E. This isn't a screen used car, but you can always tell your friends that it is, Could lie, I won't tell them. 67 Ford Anglia in the exact Potter look, off of sale, right-hand drive, 29,000 miles on an older restoration. So I would imagine those 29,000 miles are since the restoration. 3 previous owners and very, very good condition. Interior is lovely. Bodywork's very good. It runs and drives well. It's not magic, it doesn't fly, but it will bowl along the road at a nice enough pace. Old MOTs, magazines, handbooks, invoices and receipts. It's just lovely, isn't it? Gotta love an old Ford. You really have got to love an old Ford. Once these were everywhere, on every street corner, every family had one. Resto is really nice. You know, I like to see cars sitting in that older paintwork. And apart from a little bubble on the back, look, just there, she's good. And again, have a look inside, look. That's where Harry and Ron would sit. But like I said, stress once again, not magic, doesn't fly. But 11 to 13, you can pretend it does. I guarantee your kids will think that's amazing. Well, that's the great thing about 105, because of the Harry Potter films, generally speaking, 50s and 60s stuff is gently softening at the moment. But stuff like this, because any car that's in popular culture and film, you know, think DeLorean, think 18 van, Dukes of Hazzard generally, Knight Rider, always commands a bit of a premium because people know what it is. Even people that don't know cars know what that is. Right, this is very special. We promised you exceptional Jaguars today. It's a Sovereign, it's a 350. Now, we've had some commission bids on this already, and I'm not surprised, from people who really know what they're on with. If any 350 is a great car, one of Jaguar's finest works, this is a Sovereign long wheelbase. Come with me. Imagine you were a rock star, film star, leader of industry. In the back, because obviously you would have a chauffeur with this because it's long wheelbase. Just have a look in there. Look at the screens, the consoles. This has got a brand new MOT. It's done 42,000 miles. It's got 3 owners from new, first from 2007. It's got a vendor tells us it's clean and tidy. I would concur. Have you seen all this in the middle? Look. This is where you're doing all of your business. Business goes on in the back here. So you'd have your drink. Your chauffeur would take you to your mergers and acquisitions meeting. And to be fair, if you are the chauffeur, let me come to the front here and let you in and show you. Look at this. Look at that. It's like new. Absolutely extraordinary. Now, we said a load of these in the north, they fetch a fortune because people have realised they're such a great car. Long wheelbase, the most comfort, nicer ride quality as all long wheelbase chassis do. I cannot fault the car in any way. The paint, the interior, the condition, the history. A little bit of corrosion on the wheels. Let me give you something to chip it on. But I'm being ultra picky because the car is so clean. So budget, I don't know, a couple of 100, 300 quid to make it mint. The car is so worth it. 11 to 12 grand would buy you that. Don't be shy if you really want it because we've had a lot of commission interest in the car. It's probably one of the best ones I have seen. The mileage is genuine, we know that. And it is spec'd to the eyes. So if you just want to waft about in comfort or the kids want to think you've won the lottery, that's the one. Interesting XJs is the name of the game today. So it's nice, Old English White XJ, but the roof comes off. It is a coach-built convertible. Interesting, so if you've got a wedding hire business, it's obviously got the legally required leaper that all Southampton Jaguars have, 99,000 miles, private collection. Interesting car this, not only the very nicely done convertible conversion, but it's a manual, believe it or not. And it's a rarer 5-speed manual. Have a look at this. Very nice inside. Lovely condition. 40 years old, so it's everything exempt. And this conversion was done in 1990. And the history for the Cabriolet conversion, which was done by Cabriolets International, is all in the history folder. It's had a speedo change. It's got 1,000 spent on it. It's very nice condition. So what would you use this for? As I say, I think wedding hire is an absolute no-brainer on this. I think you'd make a fortune if you couldn't pay this off very quickly. It's estimated at a reasonably chunky figure, 20 to 24. But come at us with your best bid. Loads of invoices, loads of MOTs, a lot of history. I would spend the time, if you're going to have a look at this, go through it, satisfy yourself. The quality of the workmanship on this hood conversion is amazing. It looks good with it up, looks even better with it down. Wonderful thing, not many true 4-seat or 5-seat convertibles in the world. That is one of them. Of course, because it's a proper conversion, it has all the strengthening underneath. to make it nice, so it doesn't wobble, it doesn't scuttle shake. You've got all your lecky windows, you could drive it in the summer. Great car, great family car if you want to take the kids out on a convertible run, or as I say, for some kind of promo or wedding hire, you'd make a fortune. Now, no reserve Jaguars, the most dangerous things in the world, because we all want to bid on them. I'm going to have a cheeky bid on this, just because it's fun, isn't it? It's a lot of fun. 1990 XJ6 Auto, little tiny 2.9 this one, the small one, and it is a true poverty spec Jaguar, if you can have such a thing. Look inside, cloth seats, which actually, when you look at cloth seats now, they were always considered to be the inferior option in day. Everybody wanted leather. But because they wear so well, like the tweed, that kind of looks more expensive. 101,000 miles on this. The economy edition. Did you know you could have an economy edition Jaguar? Factory sunroof. It's very nice. It's from Henleys of Hendon. And it's in good overall condition in terms of the quality of the steel and the lack of corrosion. But let me be brutally honest with you. It's obviously got, you can see, it will need paint. You can see here, starting to cauliflower. Oh, Jag XJ's got on the bottom of the back window. Mine definitely has. Rear seat is very nice. So it has the bones of a good car. It's actually structurally very sound indeed. Now, MOT. It's got MOT till October 25, 11 stamps in the book, some service invoices, and a recent one in October 2024. Now, this is the thing. Don't be put off by the scruffiness and need for paint, because it's very honest. Don't forget, there are a lot of Jags out there that have this, and it's under filler and paint. This has it all on show for you to see. Why I'd say consider bidding on this is in 2023, a lovely vendor spent £8,400 sorting bits and pieces out on this car. So although you need to paint it to make it pretty, and if you look, the centre console has ripped. They're easy to do. You can get those from any Jag breaker. They'll have those in stock. Underneath the bones of that is an incredibly sound car. So you could drive that one away. I'm going to have a cheeky bid on that. That might be my taxi home. That or the Sovereign. What do you think? What should we take home? We can bid against them together. Now into the motorcycles. If you like motorcycles, we have those for you. How about this beautiful Yamaha FZS 600, 32,000 miles. Very nice example of a quick and popular bike. Rides well, everything works. It's only been sold due to lack of use. Always the way with bikes, isn't it? It's only been ridden 1,000 miles in the last 5 years, which the MOT history confirms. Now, there's no history of the bike, which means only one thing. It's going to be cheap. £1,000 to £1,500. It's spring today. It's lovely and warm in the auction room. Maybe it's the summer or the spring that you start biking, and that's a great way to do it. Isn't it gorgeous, that? £1,000 to £1,500. And don't forget, on all these, there's a commission to pay on top. But what we've done here is, by popular request of all you lovely people, there is now no registration fee. You don't have to pay anything up front. The south is just like the north. So yes, you do have to register to bid, but no money changes hands unless you purchase. If you purchase something, plenty of money will change hands. But if you don't have to pay anything. So we've made both the north and the south align. This, 1973, same age as me, arguably wearing much better, is this gorgeous XS2 or XS650, 16,000 miles, twin flat tracker, restored as a flat tracker to a very high standard some years ago, and hasn't been used very much since. It's got both kickstart and electric start. It's got an upgraded starter, which makes it a little bit easier to start. The MOT all checks out with the mileage, and it hasn't done an awful lot of mileage at all. They're hard to find these anyway, and this is a nice original UK bike, not an import. That's going to cost you somewhere between £3,000 and £4,000. How much is entirely up to you. Moving on, maybe you prefer a scooter to a flat tracker, in which case this gorgeous Lambretta TV175 Series 2, which of course is everything exempt, 175cc, offered for sale. Nice rare bike again, this one. Undergone a full restoration over the last few years. It starts well, it runs well. A couple of little marks on it. You can just see. Patination, where it's just had a little biff, I guess, when it's going into the garage. But it is pretty, and it is very nicely done. It's not immaculate. But I would just ride it and use it and have some fun. Sticker comes as standard. Peel that off if you like. So it does need a new registration plate. The old one is with it, but it's in poor condition. The tyres look brand new. Still got the little hairs. Look at the tyres. Look, they're brand new. Do you like a fresh tyre on a bike? It's just nice. It's going to be 5 to 6 grand. You could make it immaculate with not a lot of money at all. And it's a lovely thing. Also back in is this. Now this, if you're looking, thinking that's a Gold Star rocket, it's not. It's a tribute, but a particularly good one, I would say. So 1955 BSA Rocket Gold Star Tribute, 650cc. It's been kept indoors, as you can see, beautifully stored, loads of history. In 2019, over £2,000 spent, because obviously as a tribute, it's very convincing. I think it would fool a lot of people as the real things. Drilling the rear arm for the RGS oil hole. It's got stainless Gold Star rims, magneto cutout, high billet oil pump. All the gauges have been done on it as well. It's got a lot of effort into making everything match and look proper, and a full nut and bolt resto. Just very, very nice. It was one of those restos you can just see the owners had just F it, I'll just spend the money and do it properly. So that's going to cost you 7.5 to 8.5. I think you struggle to build it for that. And very convincing. If you can't quite afford a Gold Star, get that evocation. It's like 95% accurate. Right, moving on to this. We'll come back to those bikes momentarily. How about this? This is no reserve. This is very tasteful. You see a lot of these modded up and chavved up. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Very moddable and chavvable car. But this one's completely unmessed with, which makes it quite unusual. 2007 Audi S3 TFSI Quattro, 127,000 miles. Doesn't need much, not immaculate, but very tidy, ready to drive, sounds good, and has an MOT till May. Interior is lovely, paint's good, a few scuffs on it, nothing that a bit of touch-up won't fix, but at some point in the past it's been left and the camshafts have become pitted, we found, so that will require replacement or repair at some point. So you are going to need to do a little bit of work. It's going to make it cheap though. Services all the way through. If you are a Volkswagen tuner or shop, this is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. So tunable, little bit of engine work, a fantastic car, but no reserve. You get to set the price. Now moving into one of the true icons of the Japanese car scene. You don't see them for sale very often, and you don't see them for sale in lovely condition like this. The Mazda RX7 too. Isn't it gorgeous? Of course, you can use the word wankle unironically with this. Rotary engine, 86,000 miles, good condition, part of a private collection. Very nice on the body. Few things to point out. A couple of little dents. It looks like the bonnet's been shut on something, which is a real shame. Bit of work to do on the bonnet there. Tiny little bit to do. It's had some paint on the rear quarter, which is a tiny bit flatter than the rest. If you wanted to make, you can just see where it's gone in there. If you wanted to make this really, really, I would say actually that might have even had a roof repair. There's quite a dent there. Might have had a little bit of roof repair in there. It's very, very, very nice though. Very level. But just trying to point these things out. Very good on the arches. 5 previous owners, 5-speed manual, green with the cloth. I do like this colour on RX7. Have a look in there. Now these are very good news because they're a great little car in their own right. This was obviously Japan doing its version of a 944, and some would argue considerably better. Obviously genuine sports car and touring car credentials, if you know your BTCC. Yeah, because of the rarity, because it is a really nice rust-free example, a little bit to do to make it perfect, but a very nice car, 14 to 15,000. Could be an incredibly nice car with a bit of work that, and I love the colour, really love the colour. Now one of my unashamed favourites in the sale, come and have a look at this. Opel Kadett, 1978 1200S, not fast, but incredibly stylish. You may notice it's had a bit of a biff on the front. Now you could try and repair these wings. The vendor has, by separate negotiation, if you are the lucky winner of this car, he does have a nice pair of front wings that he's very prepared to do a deal on. It's going to need some work. It's going to need some body work, as you can see. Front scuttle, these wings, a few other bits and pieces, but it does look very, very sound. Why I like this car so much is simply because it's rarity. We did have, believe it or not, for a while, Vauxhalls and Opels being sold side by side in the UK. And while most people think of the Kadett as a German spec car, this is a UK supplied right-hand drive example, so very, very rare. Pretty decent on the body. Let me open the door and show you inside. It's done 130-odd thousand miles, gone around the clock, as you might expect. And it needs some love, but what you are buying here is the opportunity to acquire and then restore a very rare car. I would be incredibly tempted to do this as a Berg Cup lookalike and just win the entire scene. But we'll just tidy it up, get those wings off our vendor. And I've just, amazing thing, just have a look at these cars in period. These were the motorsport car that GM were using in Germany at the time. And there was a massive scene, particularly in Germany, for this car. And because everybody had a Chevette over here, they're a bit more exotic. So I like that a lot. Moving on, this is back in. Let's find this at home because it's so pretty. This is the super nice. We've got the Project Fixer Upper Scimitar over there. This one needs nothing, just a caring, loving home. This one, 1966 SE4 straight 6, estimated at 16 to 18. She's gorgeous. Very rare these, and one of the best ones we've seen. May I open the door and show you inside? But yeah, I think you would like to sit. A little bit of a drop on that door, a bit of a hinge adjustment to do. But look at that inside. This is car number 173. The current vendor is a collector and purchased the vehicle from a well-known club member, so it's known within the club. Loads of work. This paint, this beautiful paint, this is 8 grand's worth of paint on this car, believe it or not, with bills to prove it. All the tools, all the jack, everything's as it should be. It's very hard to fault this car. And for that reason, like I say, you will need to spend 16 to 18 to buy it. It's more than the red one because it doesn't need any work, really. It just needs you to polish it, put petrol in it, and insure it. You don't even have to tax it. It's too old. Love that. Get that bought. You'll see here as well, she's back in, lower reserve, ready to go. This is a 2015 Mercedes G-Class, Gelände Class, station wagon, 36,000 miles, offered for sale. Bought 2 years ago from Mercedes main dealer as an approved used car. If you've ever bought an approved used Mercedes, their pre-sales prep is ridiculous. The amount of time and money they spend on them. So they spent over 6.5 grand at dealer cost getting this car ready for sale 2 years ago. That's probably 10 grand in retail money. You can buy it just a few thousand miles later. Factory fitted roof on this. As I say, just 36,000 miles. Always been garage, never been off-road. Exactly what you want, and very hard to fault in terms of condition. 47 to 52, somewhere in between those two figures would buy you that. If you look at what a new one would cost, so this is 2015, it's 10 years old. Someone's trying to steal a Jaguar. Call the police. That's the Jaguar Sovereign. If you're buying that, I can confirm the alarm works. There you go. We always do very thorough tests here. Moving on to the bikes, I love this slightly random order. Keeps me on my toes. 1999 Kawasaki ZX900. Again, a lovely, cheap, inexpensive, high-value machine. £1 grand to 1,500 quid. 19,000 miles showing from a private collection with a brand new MOT and a rather nice Scorpion back box. Make it sound a bit more fruity. Well-stamped service book, and it was last serviced in 2024. There's an invoice for that service in the history as well. It's not seen much use. A lot of these bikes are just in collections, high days and holidays. So this one's modded, it's not completely standard. So if you're after an absolutely standard bike, perhaps not the one for you. If you're after a bargain bike with, I think, some very choice mods, it is the one for you. Moving on, the GSX, the Suzuki 1300 Hayabusa. What a thing. 44,000 miles, part of a private collection. Really nice condition, this. Of course, the Hayabusa's entered into the stuff of legend. Even non-bike guys like me know what it is. What a bike. What a bike. Brand new MOT till 2026. So not only pretty in nice condition with really very little for you to do other than ride it and enjoy it. There's a few things, look, if you want to make it perfect, you can see. Just things like a little bit of discoloration there. You could get that polished. There are tiny things you can do. I'm being super picky. You know, you could just refurbish the rotors on the discs a little bit. Tiny things. That's not going to be an expensive bike. 2 to 3 grand would buy you that. Or this, the 77 Suzuki GT 500 two-stroke. 15,000 miles. UK supplied. Built in the last year of production and features updates. It's got the electronic ignition, the front disc, the larger 4.5 gallon tank. Been recently restored, very sympathetically, I might add. Lots of original parts present as well. Silencers, wheel rims, mud guards. There's no history with the bike, but does come with a V5C in the vendor's name, the original handbook, a workshop manual, and it's going to be £5,000 to £6,000. Now that is a genuine retro bike. If you prefer a neo retro, so a modern bike that looks like an old bike. We've got this gorgeous 2007 Honda CB750F Super Sport. Going to be a bit of a bargain, this one, I think. 1,500 to 2.5 grand. It's never been raced, but it's been built to resemble an American style race bike. I love it. I love the way it looks. It's a fantastic looking machine. It's got new Bridgestone front and back, coerced race forks, race titanium exhaust system, NGK spark plugs. It's a great build. It's a really fantastic looking thing. So if you fancy that, give us a bid. Very tastefully modified. I very much dig the style that our vendor's gone for with that. As I say, 1,500 to 2.5 grand. Now for the next one, we might want to get you up on the mezzanine to have a jump up the stairs and have a look at this. This is interesting. This is going to be lot 139. Are you feeling like a project? 1988 Jaguar XJS convertible V12 automatic. As you can see, halfway through a rebuild when the owner sadly no longer with us. So it's a restoration project that needs finishing. So because of that, it's no reserve. You can come and tell us what it is. But if you are a enthusiastic owner with some mechanical knowledge, if you are a Jaguar specialist who knows exactly what you're looking at, I mean, what's nice about this is where you buy an XJS and you've got no idea what you're buying, everything's on show. You can see what's wrong with it. The inner wings, as you can see, look very, very good. So the car has done 98,000 miles, but let me talk you through it. So the front wings have been removed to facilitate the completion of welding work. New floor pans have been fitted, a new starter has been fitted, stamp service book up to 98 on this. The online MOT shows it went from 107,000 miles in 2007 to 94,000 miles in 2012. So it's had a speedo change at some point. But it will be a flipping cheap car, I can tell you that much. Bags of potential, even if you just buy it as a spares car, crikey. But I think it's good enough to save. I don't think there's a huge amount to do to it. And you're buying it very honestly. But you could come and buy that for very low four figures, finish it off. As you can see, all the missing bits are on the floor. Door cards look a little bit worse for wear. You might need to treat it to a set door cards, but there you go. That is a fun project. So thank you for watching that. That is our walk around. As you've seen, all of these are available. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully this is Wednesday night when you're watching these. Thursday, Friday and Saturday morning are all physical viewing days. So feel free, come down, look, start them up, listen. Bring your learned friend, your mechanic, your mate from the club, whatever it is you want to do. Come and look at the book packs. We've got them all. Ask any questions you want. But either way, auction starts 1 o'clock on Saturday the 8th. Be here in person or join us online. Either way, register to bid. But thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Ring that bell. And I'll see you hopefully on Saturday, either online or in the room. See you soon.